Hey, beautiful souls. Thanks for listening to the Holistic Life Coach podcast. Have you ever been ghosted? Doesn't feel too good, doesn't it? I've been hearing a lot about that lately. And not just on, say, like the romantic front. Like someone ghosts you by not texting you back, or some guy you've been talking to, doesn't text you back, or, just doesn't show up where you're supposed to meet and things like that. I've heard from recruiters that people just don't show up for job interviews. They don't even call and say that they're not interested in the position anymore, or that they, can't make it for some reason, need to reschedule or whatever, that they just don't show up. And, that is, besides being rude, it's just, you're wasting someone's time. They have blocked off that time so that they could spend that time with you, whether it be, for their, job, or for recreational purposes, and to give them, the consideration of just telling them, I can't make it. Can we reschedule? Or I'm not interested right now, whatever. I mean, would you feel good if it happened to you? No, you wouldn't. And it just amazes me how often it happens. I don't understand, and I don't understand why it happens. I was raised with, you should have manners, and you should treat people with respect and consideration, and tell them if you can't make it. If you're going to be late, call and tell them you're going to be late. No, I hear from other people, recruiters who will say, especially with millennials, oh, they just showed up late for the job interview, and, they didn't say anything. They didn't say, I'm sorry for showing up late, or, thank you for seeing me, even though I was late. Not anything, nothing. No acknowledgement at all that, that they screwed up, did anything wrong, or even that you were nice enough to hold that appointment for them. And it just amazes me. It really does. And, I also, I got to tell you what happened to me a few weeks ago. Now, this goes underneath. It's the same thing. Don't treat people like crap. File, right? This goes under. So I was at one of these big hardware stores, and I am remodeling my bathroom, and it's the first time I've ever remodeled anything in my house. So I had a lot of questions, and I found someone in the cabinet section, because I had a lot of questions about, should I get a new vanity? Should I just refinish the vanity? I have a vent that's underneath the vanity, so what do I do? Is that going to, I don't want to order the wrong type of vanity, and when I get it, they'll say, oh, you didn't take in consideration that there's a vent under there, things like that. So this man who works at the store, just started talking to me about all the different types of vanities, and he's a retired contractor, which was very helpful. He answered all my questions. He brought up things, I didn't even think about. And so we were chatting about remodeling and, Then another worker comes up to him and says, do you think you can help this customer over here? I was trying to answer his questions. I answered some of them. I couldn't answer all of them, but I thought you could help him. So do you think you can go over there and answer his questions? And Tim, the man that I'm talking to, says, yeah, when I'm finished with this lady, helping this lady, I'll go over and talk to him. And so this coworker of his says, well, you've been talking to her for 45 minutes. I just thought you could go over there and talk to this man. And Tim looks at me. He is so embarrassed. I could tell he was embarrassed. And I'm looking at him like, I can't believe this guy is saying this in front of a customer. So he says to him, okay, well, when I'm finished answering this lady's questions, I will go over there and help him. And this coworker says, okay. He starts to walk away and he says, okay, well, I'm just saying, I thought maybe you could go and help him. And all right, well, fine. Just, take your time, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm looking at Tim like, what in the world? So Tim says, he says, I'm sorry about that. He says, he is not my boss. Well, that was another thing. When he told me he wasn't his boss, saying that to him, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? How rude to say that to another coworker. Where does this guy get off doing that? So then he says, he's not my boss, and I'm sorry about that, and I will answer all of your questions, and I will spend as much time with you as you would like. So I don't want you to feel hurried or rushed or anything. And I said, no, it's okay. I said, so these are my options, 1, 2, and 3. He said, yes. Okay. I said, all right, well, thank you very much for explaining all of this to me and going through everything thoroughly with me. And he says, if you have any more questions, just come back to the store and ask for me, and I'll be happy to answer them. And he shook my hand. And I said, well, thank you very much. And he says, okay, bye. So then I see he went over and he went to talk to this other customer. And I could see this kind of customer kind of turned around like he was waiting, whatever. But you know what? This customer didn't know that, this other coworker should have gone back to that customer and said, Tim will be with you. As soon as he's finished talking with another customer. It might be 5-10 minutes, But no, did he do that? No, he just walked away. Ugh, I was mad. So I was in the store a couple weeks later, and I just said, I'm going to customer service because this was really bothering me. In fact, I was telling people about it. I said, you won't believe what happened in the store. I said, I've never, this is not, people, what happened to professionalism? You don't treat a coworker like that. If you have something to tell a coworker, you might want to, motion to them, come over here, and you tell them in private, you've been spending a lot of time, but still, even a boss would do that to a subordinate, not to someone who's on the same level as you. Oh my gosh. So I go over to customer service, and they ask, how can I help you? Are you finding everything okay? Yeah, I'm finding everything fine. I said, everything's fine. I have everything I need. And I said, but I just want to tell you about something that happened a few weeks ago when I was in the store. And this gal looks at me like, uh-oh, what? And so I tell her the story, and her mouth dropped. She couldn't believe it. As soon as I got the words out, well, you've been with this lady for 45 minutes. And her mouth dropped. Her eyes were as big as platters. I'm telling you. She couldn't believe it. And so she asked me who it was. I said, I didn't look at the guy's name tag. I described him. She was trying to figure out who it is. I don't know. So I don't know if anything's going to come of that. Although she did tell me, and I'm going to pass this on to you. When you get your receipt and they have a survey at the bottom? So, those big stores do that. So even like the restaurants, you'll see like Taco Bell does that and stuff. She told me, she says, you know what, fill out that survey and there'll be a box where you can, write some, I can go into detail, I guess, and tell them about what happened. And you could tell them what happened, but also, because I had said there were some other, employees that had helped me prior to that situation happening. And I said they were fantastic. These employees were, they helped me. They answered all my questions. They found other employees who could help me in other departments. They were wonderful. And even Tim, wonderful. So she says you might write on there, about Tim and the other employees. So because the managers in corporate, they read those and it will get to them. If there's something specific, then there. I said, okay. So, yeah, but really, I mean, like I said, it's just file it. These things can be filed under don't treat people like crap. And because what's going to happen is when these things happen, whether you're ghosted or a situation like this happens, like even though like in this situation, I don't know the specific person's name, but I must have told about 5 people about this situation and what store it happened at. So even though it doesn't reflect on everyone in the store or that brand, still, it's not good for that company. And so, when people say, hey, I was ghosted by this person. Oh, really? I wonder what, if they do, if, you're in business with them or something and they do ghost you, that doesn't look good for their business either. So heads up, people do notice when those things happen. They notice, if you're ghosted, if they're ghosted, they notice how you respond to situations and, and they notice how you treat people. And especially when you're under pressure. So, it's just don't treat people like crap. And you'll go a long way. Thanks for listening to the Holistic Life Coach Podcast. Show notes can be found at theholisticlifecoachpodcast.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast to be notified when the next episode drops. Until next time, beautiful souls.